Hi, welcome back. I'm Dr. Patti. So we talk so much about what foods to avoid and what diets to follow and what nutrition plan is ideal. I want to talk today a little bit about how to reintroduce foods back in after you've been following a particular plan or you've been doing a cleanse or a detox. Now, before I launch into how to reintroduce foods back in, a cleanse or a reset or a detox is different for everyone. Some people may choose to do something more gentle, like an anti-inflammatory diet. And I did outline a general anti-inflammatory diet in a video a couple months ago. So I'll try to link that in the cards for you. And other people may opt to go more plant-based, maybe even more intensive, like a juice cleanse, or some even do a water fast or a water cleanse. Or for some people, it may be something like a Whole30 or a modified paleo type nutrition plan to just help reset the body. So it's a little bit different for everyone, but most nutrition plans that help reset and cleanse usually involve eliminating the major foods that cause triggers for people in terms of inflammation and insulin release and toxicity, in terms of packaged foods, sugars, alcohol, caffeine, things like that. So whatever you have chosen to follow, after you've been following the plan for an appropriate amount of time, and that usually ranges from about 2 to 12 weeks. And the longer you go, the cleaner your system gets. And so when you reintroduce something back in, the signal is much louder. So what I often say is that imagine if you have 2 glasses of water, and one glass is full of just clear water, one glass is full of water and sand. If you then add a spoonful of sand to each glass of water, the one with the clear glass is going to be much more noticeable in terms of the new sand that you're putting in. So our bodies are a little bit like that. After you've done a reset, once you introduce potential triggers, if it's something that your body doesn't really like, the sound, or I'm sorry, not the sound, the signal will be much louder if you've cleansed it for longer. So I say a week to 2 weeks minimum, longer if you can. 12 weeks, 3 months is a nice time to really give your body a chance to rest and heal and eliminate those toxic foods, packaged foods, alcohol, sugars, things like that. So once you've done that, the way that you want to reintroduce foods is by introducing one food at a time. So you almost want to treat your body like a little 6-month-old baby that's experiencing solid foods for the first time. You don't want to just give everything all at once, and then you might be confused as to how your body is feeling and what it's reacting to. So a lot of times after we've done a bit of a reset, you feel really good, and a lot of the aches and pains or chronic symptoms you are having might be reduced. So in order to figure out what kinds of foods are causing triggers, or you might be sensitive to or intolerant of, you introduce one at a time. So let's say I've been following my anti-inflammatory diet for 12 weeks, and now I'm ready to start introducing foods back in to figure out, I wonder which of these things are bigger triggers for me that might cause more chronic symptoms and more inflammation. So let's say I choose tomatoes. So day 1, I choose tomatoes, and you want to eat a lot of it. You really want to show your immune system a big enough picture. What you don't want to do is follow a nutrition plan or cleanse for 3 whole months and then say, okay, I'm really curious if tomatoes are a trigger for me. Let me have a little bite of tomato. Okay, is it doing anything? Is it doing anything? I don't know. I think I'm okay. Okay, I think I can have tomato now. That's probably the worst way you can reintroduce something back in. What you want to do is have a lot of it. So have it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Give your immune system a big enough picture so that it can really see all the molecules and the antibodies and see how your immune system reacts to this food. So what you want to do is have a lot of it, and then you want to wait about 3 to 5 days and see how you feel. So if you had a reduction in your chronic symptoms during your reset, and let's say your headaches feel a lot better, once you reintroduce a potential trigger, of course your headaches might come back, so you want to keep an eye on that. But you also want to keep an eye out for symptoms related to mood, any anxiety or depression, fatigue, skin symptoms, either rashes, eczema, dry skin, acne, of course digestive symptoms, constipation, diarrhea, or just changeability in your normal habits. And just keeping an eye out for symptoms that are sometimes a little bit vague. And I'm not gonna lie, this is where it gets a little bit, you have to be mindful and a little bit conscious, and sometimes even journal your foods and food symptoms, because it may not be a loud blaring sign. Sometimes it is. I've had patients introduce gluten back into their diet, for instance, and every time they have it, they have extreme sharp pain in their abdomen. So that's an obvious sign that their body is not very happy with gluten. But other people, it's a little bit of fatigue, or just like a mild headache, or a little bit of anxiety. So you have to really be still, listen to your body, and see and check in with yourself and sort of do an internal scan. So let's say I've introduced the tomatoes and I feel okay. Then I'm okay to sort of add that back into my rotation. Now, I don't necessarily want to be eating that food every single day. There's a reason why I eliminated it in the first place, but it can be put back into rotation, and it's probably something that my body isn't horribly triggered by or very, very sensitive to. Now, after you've done that, you introduce the next food, and you would do the exact same thing. Eat a lot of it, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, let's say maybe dairy, and have a bunch of it, and then wait 3 to 5 days and see how you feel. And the reason why you wait 3 to 5 days is because, unlike a shrimp allergy or a peanut allergy where your throat closes or your lips blow up, this is what's called a delayed hypersensitivity reaction. So you may eat something on Monday and not even have symptoms until Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. So you want to give your body a chance to react and for you to actually listen to that communication. And that communication is sometimes quite gentle and quiet, so you got to really listen. So it may cause you to have some breakouts, and you may not necessarily get a pimple right away, but maybe two days later you might develop a little bit of acne. So you want to give time for your body to communicate back with you. So it is a little bit labor intensive. I'm the first to admit that, because you're introducing one food in back at a time, seeing how your body does. Sometimes the symptoms are a little bit vague, but you just do your best and listen to your intuition, listen to your body, let your body communicate with you. And this really is the gold standard. There are food sensitivity tests out there that can be done through blood, and they're very effective, but the elimination diet, cleansing and resetting, and then introducing one food back in and seeing how you react really is the gold standard of figuring out individual food sensitivities. And then once you have figured these out, it's good to avoid these, obviously, to give your body a little bit of a rest. And it doesn't mean that you're going to have to avoid these foods for the rest of your life. Sometimes, yes, I know for a fact that I have been sensitive to dairy my whole life, and it doesn't mean that I don't have it once in a while. But I listen to my body. I know I'm probably not going to feel great after it, but sometimes I indulge, and I do that with joy and with enjoyment and without guilt. Most of the time without guilt. I am human, so that guilt does creep in, but I just try to indulge, and then I listen. And the next time, sometimes it's not worth it. I know that I might be bloated or have some fatigue, and so the next time I really think about, is it worth it? And do I want to experience this food, or do I want to not have fatigue tomorrow? And sometimes I opt for the little bit of fatigue. So it's really about developing a conversation with our bodies, listening to our bodies, and learning how our bodies feel. So I hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below, and Dr. Angela and I will be happy to answer them. If any of this was confusing, introducing foods back in can be a little bit daunting, so we're happy to support you. And thank you so much for stopping by. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and feel free to share with anyone you think might be interested. And I will see you back here soon. Thank you so much.